Hey, what's going on guys? It's Serge here, and today we are back with another video. We are going to be talking about why crossplay will be happening in Battlefield 6 and what that means for the community going ahead in the future. Before I start this video, make sure to subscribe and like for more content on Battlefield 6 and Battlefield 5 to come. Let's get right into the video. Now, a good question to ask is, what is crossplay? God damn it, Wikipedia! This is the wrong crossplay. Jesus! So basically, crossplay is the ability to play over different platforms with your friends. So if I'm on PlayStation 5 and I want to play with my Xbox friend, then that is an opportunity that is available to me to do so. We already have some notable games that include crossplay in the most recent titles, which would be Modern Warfare and games like that that have crossplay, with an ever-growing list that keeps going. So it is inevitable that Battlefield will join this trend, because as we are seeing right now in Battlefield 5, we have a bit of a cut community. Basically, in Battlefield 5, if you're playing Xbox, you can't play with anyone except Xbox players. So I'm playing here on PC. I can only play with PC players. Can't play with anyone else. Basically what that does is just separates the community and makes it much harder for people to play together, especially when your friends are on different consoles. A lot of the time did not allow for people to share different consoles, so they had to stay segregated to a certain console. But nevertheless, we are moving on from a time where you have to have the same console as your friends. You can have different consoles now and still play with your friends, which is an awesome thing to see. Because, you know, some people like playing Xbox, some people want to have a PlayStation so they can play all those exclusive games, and Xbox for Game Pass, and PC for that freedom and lack of having to pay for an online subscription, which is pretty awesome. So basically we're trying to figure out, how is crossplay going to affect the community? Crossplay is going to affect the community by allowing a longer life support line. So we already see this in Battlefield 5. You can barely find lots of games. There's still lots of games because it's the most recent Battlefield, but you cannot play every game mode in the game unless you're from the US, because the US just has a large population. But we're seeing, especially in more scattered areas like Oceania and Asia and Europe, sometimes that there are less game modes available and less servers, so you're quite stuck on certain servers. But it will allow to no longer have these situations where you can't find a game, because you're going to get to play with PS5 players, obviously. I'm not sure about PS4, but that was listed there. Xbox players will also be in that midst, and PC players. So we're really just going to be bringing everyone into the game, having one community as a whole playing, so you can play with everyone, and the server is going to be much more filled. Now, I know what you're wondering. What are some of the positives of crossplay? So, nevertheless, the positives we just went over of crossplay is playing with your friends and the player count that will stay alive for longer amounts of time. Some other ones I'd like to mention is more attention to exploiters on PC. So, if you don't know, hackers are a big problem on PC, and they need to get stopped. We have horrible anti-cheat over here. And if you are playing on a DICE server, there is quite a high chance that you may find a lovely little hacker chilling around, which I don't think anyone loves to deal with hackers, because it's just pathetic. Imagine paying, what, $40 to $60 for a new game just to go, right, I'm gonna hack. Like, come on. So crossplay will force the developers to actually combat that, because then every single part of the player base will deal with them. So hopefully that will happen and we don't get some ignoration. We don't like that. Don't like ignorant. Okay, another one that we're going to get from positives are custom PC servers for consoles. So for what I've seen from a lot of the time playing back in the day on the PS4, Battlefield 5, there was not many options for PC players. There were too many options for PC players, just kidding. And there was not enough options for console players. So we just got the basic DICE servers. Didn't really get anything else. Not a massive form of customization where we can have our own servers with our custom rules and all that. We need that. So by having crossplay, everyone's going to have the ability to play on these more custom servers. So you can play hardcore, you can play headshots only, no tanks, only tanks, you know, just things like that that really switch up the gameplay and make it more replayable and will allow people to customize their game. I'm not sure how it would work for console if they just add those tools, but all I know is that you guys will get the opportunity to actually play proper custom lobbies, which is pretty sick. What are the negatives of crossplay? And so when talking about the negatives of the lovely old crossplay, we must think about why PC will be a problem for console players. So there's some massive disadvantages when you play against PC players. I'm not doing that as a bias as I am one, but there are disadvantages that should be noted. One, we got a bit more uncapped frame rates. So we have 120 frames per second, 240 or 10,000 if you're one of those people that spend 10 grand on the game, but we get a lot more frames per second and our response times are much quicker because the console can be capped at what, max 60 FPS, and if you're playing 4K, what, 30, we're not getting that much compared to PC, where there's a lot, not just talking about the hardware area of PC, but also just talking about the general skill. Not to insult any console players, but on a PC you can point and click. So basically, if I want a headshot, point, click, dead. Console, I have to kind of move the thumbstick up a little bit to make sure I can get the headshot. So naturally, it is easier to pull out the mouse and just point and click. I'm not saying that every PC player is much better than console players. There's plenty of much better console players that are better than any PC players, so just don't take offense on that. It's just fact. Basically, to have an equal game, you get to get the lovely old aim assist, which, depending on how they change that, can be either really overpowered or stupid, like useless. That doesn't even help you in like anything. Now, another issue with PC are hackers. We have so many hackers in Battlefield 5. Like I said before, you can't find a DICE server that doesn't have a hacker. There's so many of them roaming around. They're so pathetic because they know that DICE does not try and actively catch hackers anymore unless like bullied to do it. They don't really catch them anymore because they're like, hey, we're not supporting the game, do whatever the hell you want. So if we have this issue in the good old lovely Battlefield 6, what do you think's gonna happen? If they're not proactive, there's gonna be hackers, and I guarantee we'll have something kind of like Warzone. Much less because people are paying for the game, but there will be hackers on the PC side because just some people are pathetic and hack. I don't understand it. Don't know why you waste money to hack because it's not fun hacking. Maybe for like 10 minutes it's fun to hack and be like, oh, I'm so cool. But actually genuinely playing the game and hacking is just kind of annoying and pathetic. So, I mean, you guys make your decision on that, but that's how I feel about hacking. So devs need to be really proactive if they want to solve this because there's always going to be hackers. So, apart from PC, there's going to be a lot more toxicity because if you don't know, in PC there is a little chat button. Now, I'm not saying the community is toxic. I'm saying there's a small group of individuals that get very salty and have sooks in games. Go like, oh, why isn't the team being better? Stuff like that. Stuff that will get me cancelled off YouTube for saying. So we're just going to have to deal with that, or they can remove the in-game chat. I don't know how they would solve that, but that is one worrying concern if you're just trying to relax, because it'll be a lot less relaxing when you have someone spamming you in the messages going, you're so trashed, you know, stuff like that. It's just trying to come and attack you because they're salty. So basically, PC players will destroy both in skill and in hacks. Not saying that, like I said before, not saying console players are bad, not saying all PC players are good. I'm just saying, statistically, it's a little bit more in the favor of the PC players. So don't go into the comments and go, Serge, how dare you, you piece of shit. How dare you offend me, I'm a professional console player. Like I said, there are plenty of really good console players here, so don't get mad at me. But that was crossplay. We are getting it in Battlefield 6, I can guarantee it right now. You've heard official leak from Serge, going on to all the headlines, so I can get 10 trillion subscribers. Basically, yes, crossplay is happening. Get ready for it. I hope the developers are ready and have some anti-cheat and stuff like that, because if that does not happen, then we're going to get screwed. But if they do it positively, we're going to get so many opportunities to play with our friends from all consoles, so we can remove that barrier that's always been there for Battlefield. Not being able to play with your friends and having a segregated community, because what's worse, we have 3 different communities, Xbox and PlayStation, and then we have PC, or we have them all together playing. Yeah, there's downsides, there's upsides, but let's look at it positively. We're gonna get to finally play all together, and we can be a community fully. Anyway guys, thank you so much for watching. That was my video for today. If you guys enjoyed, make sure to subscribe and like, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.